The food culture in the United States has created two seemingly conflicting dietary health problems in Americans. Both the obesity epidemic and the rise of eating disorders in women throughout the country lead to severe health issues that stem from the toxic food environment surrounding Americans every day.
We've taken an essential human need and really turned it over for corporate profit making.
Food companies have essentially declared war on the health of American consumers.
For the first time in human history, there is actually a surplus of food. Nixon's agricultural secretary in the 1970s gave farms the incentive to grow more food with the promise of substantial government funding. Crops like corn and soybeans were grown in unreasonably large quantities, making them stable ingredients in the making of processed foods. An example of this is the creation of high fructose corn syrup, which is commonly found in soda.
From an evolutionary perspective, our bodies are designed to eat whatever food is put in front of us. Because for most of our history as a species, our relationship with food has been one of scarcity.
With the surplus of food, marketing became a key aspect of the industry. Food companies suddenly had to become competitive to other businesses and make a certain profit to attract investors. In the documentary Slim Hopes, Gene Kilborn talks about the dangerous way food is portrayed in advertising, changing the way Americans view their bodies and food.
I lost myself completely. Each creamy spoonful was a moment suspended in time. I would have stopped before I finished the whole pint. Only problem was I couldn't find the lid. Now what this ad is doing is it's normalizing binging. It's normalizing very dangerous, disordered eating behavior. You know, to eat an entire pint of ice cream because you can't stop. And it's presenting that as okay.
While marketing can lead to habits associated with binge eating and obesity, it can also be linked to the cause of eating disorders. By creating an environment that considers eating a moral dilemma for women, heart disease is common in both those who overeat as well as those who are suffering from an eating disorder. According to the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders, eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness.
In fact, thinness is today's equivalent of virginity. It's a moral issue. The good girl is the thin girl, the one who keeps all of her appetites under control. I'm a girl who just can't say no. I insist on dessert. It used to be that girls who couldn't say no were talking about something else. It used to be that a phrase like this would refer, of course, to sexual activity. But it no longer does. We now know that if a woman comes back from a weekend and says she was bad, we assume that she broke her diet, not that she did something interesting sexually, right?
The best way to combat these food and health issues currently plaguing the nation is to raise awareness in as many ways as possible. If the government works to make food companies accountable for their marketing and the quality of their products, consumers can buy products more comfortably knowing that they are truly getting the best for themselves and their children. In contrast to this, raising awareness through celebrity endorsement can also help spread the message, since many of these public figures are role models to young children. A policy that would make advertisers more accountable for the effect of their ads on young people would be for American lawmakers to follow in the footsteps of French lawmakers in their effort to decrease eating disorders. In 2015, a new law requiring extremely thin models to present a medical certificate proving they were healthy went into effect in France. French lawmakers passed the law with the hopes that it would put an end to the rampant eating disorders in the fashion industry. On top of that, magazines are now required to include a disclaimer on any images that were photoshopped prior to being printed. In Michelle Obama's 2013 Food and Marketing Address, she discussed the importance of ensuring that food marketing geared towards children is sufficiently monitored, making the argument that although children can't distinguish the deception in advertising, they are often the ones to convince their parents of what to buy in the grocery store. In fact, children influence approximately $700 billion in spending in supermarkets across the United States.
But once again, moms like me are relying on all of you to actually help our kids get excited about eating that food. And that's why I wanted to bring all of you together today, because you guys know better than anyone how to get kids excited. You've done it before, and we need you to do it again.
Although the cultural food problem in the United States has various factors and effects on the American population, one of the key changes to be made would be to start with the regulation of marketing and advertisements.